Randy Marion Ford Lincoln.
Good morning, Lake Norman. I hope everybody's doing great today. This is Cornelius, Mayor Woody Washam, and you are about town today. It's going to be a fun show today. I just know it. I've got some special guests on here talking about one of the favorite topics in the town of Cornelius and really in the Lake Norman region. It's a hot topic these days as it relates to real estate. And you know, there's a lot of great real estate agents and companies in this town, but we will be walking through several of these great folks that serve you and serve our community. But today we're with a couple of folks that are attached to a group called the Winstone Dane Group, and they are with eXp Realty, and that would be Sean Herndon and Wendy Atherton. Welcome, folks.
Thanks, Woody. It's great to be here today.
We're
Absolutely.
happy to have you guys. Absolutely. I've been wanting to get you guys on this show for so long because real estate is such a interesting enigma to many people. And you know, many people own a home. Everybody's got to live somewhere. I mean, let's face it. They either rent, they own, uh, and there's different variations of all that. The real estate market changes. As a banker for 50 years, working with so many developers and folks that generate product for this great region. We've grown a lot in terms of our housing market in this area over a period of time. Uh, it's a market that really hadn't grown much lately, which is in terms of the inventory that's out there. So, first of all, let's back up a little bit. I want you folks that are listening today to know who you're listening to. So let me get these folks to tell you what they're all about and what their expertise is and what they bring to the table. And we will start first with Mr. Sean Herndon. Uh, uh, Sean has been here in town and been involved in so many community organizations, and he's made such a great contribution to our community, and is now serving as the president of the Lake Norman, excuse me, the North Mecklenburg Rotary Club, and so he's got his fingers in a lot of directions here. But tell us how you got in the real estate business, Sean. I know you haven't done this all your life.
No, and it was one of those situations that I think a lot of realtors that run into is we were out there. We were renting when we first moved here back in 2017, and we're renting back then it was Marina Shores,
Sure.
and we were right on the water, loving it, and that we fell in love with Lake Norman, and we're like, okay, we got to buy, and we had great recommendation of an agent. She was wonderful. But we were running into a situation that, we were driving around. We found a for sale by owner. We negotiated the situation. The realtor was great, but more of a transactional realtor. And we're like sitting there going, I could have kind of done that by myself without paying that commission. And then we were already there in a situation of looking. I was in a job uh, that was in staffing for most of my career up in Boston, and got out of that business. It was kind of in between, ready to do something else, and we were always talking about doing investing and real estate. And then we're buying it, and we're like, okay, maybe I should just get my license. That'll help us do the investments anyways. We can save on commission. So I went and got my license but for me, for me to get a license, that was a big, big hill to take. I kept on repeating in my head, you only fail when you stop,
Hmm.
trying. And thankfully, I only had to take it once. I,
Awesome.
I was scared to death. I always heard those horror stories of people having to take it two, three, four times. But thankfully, I only had to go once. But then when I went down that road, always had a service mindset and heart, and having that real estate license really kind of helped me take that way, and was very thankful that we did, because it did really put us where we are now. So
Awesome. Wendy, what about you? I know you came into real estate a little bit after Sean. Is that correct?
I did. I had a long career in corporate America and
Bless your
traveled.
heart.
Yeah, there were some pros and cons of it for sure. And traveled extensively. Like every week, I was on an airplane going somewhere and worked for a major insurance company. And at one point, I ran their national accounts underwriting organization, and then did a lot of consulting on the group benefits space. And I actually ended up moving into real estate a little bit accidentally to kind of really just help Sean.
Hmm.
And I got my license so that I could do that. And I really enjoyed it. And I decided not to go back to corporate America after all, and to take some of those consulting skills and analytical skills that had served my large clients well in the corporate space and apply that into the residential real estate space. And that's been a really interesting experience to have done. And our goal is to really just provide the absolute best outcomes to our clients.
Well, that's certainly awesome. And how hard is it to find clients these days? Are there people still looking for a move or a new house and coming to this area?
People are coming to this area still very consistently. We have clients coming in this weekend from out of state. And so we still see this is such an attractive region for people to move to. And once people come here, they love it here. Once they experience Lake Norman, they love Lake Norman.
Particularly Cornelius, right?
Oh,
Absolutely.
yes. Like
I thought
Cornelius,
you would say
Cornelius
that.
is always the number one choice after looking at the whole lake.
People
That's great.
people love Cornelius. It has so much to offer. It's you don't really have to convince people that they're going to love Lake Norman. Now, finding a home for them in Lake Norman can be a challenge because we've had, really quite the market for the last few years, right? And we still continue to operate in a low inventory situation.
So tell me, talking about the market piece of things, it's always interesting to me to ask folks, how did you get to Cornelius? How did you find us? What interested you about us? What makes you think this is a good place to live? So what do people tell you about that? Why they moved, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, we have the complete package. And the thing is, we do have a bubble. 1 to 3 minutes to get anything you need or want. From healthcare, amenities, activities, lake, school system. I mean, you don't have to go far. There's many times we look at each other and go, "Do I have to go to Costco? Oh,
So
Such
far.
a
that's so
long
far.
way.
Can we get a Costco closer?" So we're very, very lucky that we are in a situation we have so much so close. And right now, currently, we're in Antiquity, which is on the other side of 77. We barely even drive our car. I
Right.
mean, we could get to Crafty Burger. We can get, then we can go to, Barley Market. Everything's very walkable. Kane Center is right there. I mean, those are things that are very attractive to people.
Yeah, to think you can walk from your house to a Broadway play. If you can get across 115, right? That would be the challenge.
Play a
So
little Frogger.
interesting things going on in the world of real estate these days, and we've got a lot more to talk about as we roll toward uh, the future of it. We're going to talk about that in one of our later segments, but it's definitely like any business is changing, and the thing about that is if you don't change and you can't roll with it, you probably die, and
Mhm.
that's just the way the world operates. This is Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam, and we are about town about real estate, and we'll be right back.
More About Town with Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam. Coming up on 1059 100.7 WSIC.
Well, our Thursday in great shape. The sunshine back in full force and actually pretty comfortable as we warm up into the mid-50s. We'll drop back again into the mid-30s overnight and even warmer, even more mild Friday on the way. Sunshine in low 60s as we round out the work week. Looking ahead to the weekend, should be in pretty good shape. Sunshine is back for Saturday. High temperatures in the mid-50s. We'll be back in the 50s again for Sunday, but some increasing clouds as we go throughout the day. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. Merlefest is back, April 25th through the 28th at Wilkes Community College. featuring nearly 100 performers, including Old Crow Medicine Show, Turnpike Troubadours, the Teskey Brothers, Nickel Creek, and more. Tickets and information at merlefest.org. Listen each morning to Good Morning LKN for your chance to win tickets. Mooresville Parks and Recreation is excited to bring The Great Magician Murder Mystery Dinner Theater to the Charles Mack Citizen Center, Saturday, February 10th. This is not your usual murder mystery experience. An evening of theater and mystery that will have you laughing and gasping. The Great Magician Murder Mystery Dinner Theater, Saturday, February 10th. For more info, visit ourtownstage.com. Chi-Town Transit Authority is coming to Kane Center for the Arts, Saturday, February 3rd. Come hear the 8-piece Chicago tribute band, horn and woodwind sections included. Chi-Town Transit Authority, Kane Center for the Arts, Saturday, February 3rd. kanearts.org. That's CAINarts.org. The North Carolina Gun Collectors Association Gun Show is coming to the Statesville Civic Center, February 3rd and 4th. Always remember, safety first. For more info, including show rules and restrictions, visit the North Carolina Gun Collectors Association website. The NCGCA Gun Show, February 3rd and 4th, Statesville Civic Center. Want to attend the Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show? Throughout the day, you have your chance to win tickets. Listen to Good Morning LKN, the Home Ad Show, the News Drive at 5, and the Scoreboard. Each show gives you your chance to win. The Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show, February 23rd through the 25th. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
We are back with more of About Town with Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
And here we are back for our next segment of About Town with Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam. Pleasure to be with you today. And you can call and ask questions, and I'm sure you've got some questions about this crazy real estate market that's going on. And hopefully you will buzz us and ask us those questions. You can reach us at 844-STUDIO-4, 844-STUDIO-4. Call on up, folks, and get your questions answered about real estate right here. So we were talking about the markets and how important that is to so many people. What brings them to this area, Cornelius in particular. The town of Cornelius invests millions of dollars in our park structure and in our greenway structure and, to make our quality of life what it is here. And I think it's pretty doggone good. I've experienced it my entire lifetime, so I don't have a lot to compare it to. Does that make a difference to folks? Can folks relate to that?
It makes an enormous difference. People who are coming here from out of state, for example, appreciate the fact that they have quality access to health care, that they have plenty to do. I mean, the events that the town of Cornelius sponsors every year are enormously popular.
Makes it special, doesn't it?
It does. It absolutely does. And people that come here, we have tremendous opportunity all year long to enjoy a lot of things outdoors too. And I think that the town really helps us to optimize that, right, in terms of what they provide. And, folks who come here from different states are oftentimes living higher tax rate environments. And so they look at this as a great advantage as well.
So you think our tax rates are too low, Wendy? Is that what we're saying here? We can fix that.
I'll keep mine where it is. But people do look at those things when they're making a big decision to make a move.
Well, I hear all the time from folks that, man, it's so cheap to live here. That doesn't seem that way to me. Again, because I don't have anything to compare it to. But I guess our tax rates are relatively low compared to other areas of the country, right?
Yes. I mean, there are other areas of the country where, I have buyers that come here and go, wow, really, that's all, right, relative to where they're coming from. Look, we've had a huge increase in price here, just like the rest of the country has.
Sure.
And we continue to see healthy price increases, even where we have been over the last 18 months or however long in terms of our interest rate situation. So our pricing continues to be healthy here. And, It's becoming less and less considered a cheap place to live, but I think people recognize the value that Cornelius offers.
Exactly. Would you would you consider this a resort community? Would you put it in that category or not? I know our price points of homes are up there. I know that the folks that live here, the average income is up there.
hmm
So, how would you define it in
We
terms of that aspect?
we have this is a healthy second home market, and we have closed a significant number of buyers who are either purchasing as a second home, who came here and stayed in a vacation home, and that's how they learned about the area. Now they're buying their own vacation home,
Sure.
or people who are purchasing homes to use them as vacation rentals.
Exactly.
So I think we do
Exactly.
have a healthy market here for that.
I think we've got one of our citizens on the line here. Let's go to our phone line and see what's on his mind. Jim Vogel, are you out there?
Jim.
Well, hello, Mayor. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. How are you doing? Are you better?
I'm hanging in there. No, not really. They got me on some asthma medicine now, so we'll see
Oh,
what happens. Just everybody be careful out there. COVID is still out there.
Yeah.
no kidding. No kidding. No kidding. So what's on your mind today?
Yeah, I'll tell you, there's probably no one that represents our realty people than these guys. They do a great job. Wendy helped us with our house, and of course, Sean's been a friend for moons. And it's just so nice to have them on your show.
Sure, sure. They are friends of a lot of people here in this town. Hadn't been here that long, really, but they have made waves for sure here in our town, in our region. So, absolutely, that's true. So Jim, what's going on with Lake Norman Small Business Network?
Well, we've got our first Friday is going to be tomorrow night at Bin 110. It's the very first event for Bin 110 and the
Awesome,
brand new rebuilt bourbon bar. They
beautiful
did have
place.
an event last week, but this is an official one, and we're looking forward to it at 5:30. And of course, anybody out there, including those that are realtors, hey, we'd love to have you join us and on Wednesday mornings at H2 Public House. They give us courtesy coffee, courtesy water. It's just a really, really nice environment. Again, Josh does a great job over there. But again, these guys know exactly how the houses and home market is in Cornelius. And of course, I live in the bubble. I can make a left turn and go everywhere, and make a right turn and go everywhere.
Hmm.
So it's just really, really nice that we found a beautiful home in Cornelius and really, really enjoy ourselves. And again, thank you.
Well, we recruited you from Davidson, so we're glad to
You
have you
did.
in our community.
You did.
Absolutely.
I think Mayor Knox is still not talking to me. I'm just kidding.
I bet he is. We do have that little battle going on from time to time,
Isn't that funny?
but anyway, uh, continue to support our small business, and Jim, you just keep communicating with us and telling us how we can do that. And thank you for calling in today. We appreciate you touching base. It's always great to
Absolutely.
hear
Thank
from
you.
you.
Thank you, Jen,
Yeah. Thanks,
for calling.
guys. Thanks.
Thank
Thanks for a
you.
great
Thank you.
show. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, talk
Yeah,
to you
absolutely.
soon. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
You betcha.
So here we are in this great market. Other markets are blossoming as well. So talk a little bit about the west side of the lake. What's going on over there in terms of development or opportunities or inventory? How does it relate to the east side?
Over there, yes, there is definitely a lot of movement. Ever since Cheryl's Ford moved that Publix in, it just has blossomed over there. You feel like Cheryl's Ford's a little bit more forward on their development, a little bit more focus in that area. Lincoln County, Denver, which is very close to my heart. I mean, it's beautiful over there. But it doesn't seem that they're moving. There's a lot more coming in. Really good restaurants are starting coming in.
Hmm.
Um, but they have what everyone else has is bad traffic. And it's just something that's just all the way around. But it just they just seem to not be moving as fast. But you could see things are changing. Things are moving. And once we get these, the different things like 73 wine and stuff like that, I think it's going to give a little bit even more opening to them, just like
Sure.
how the toll road opened us up more to Charlotte. Ever since that, I know the toll road is kind of a little bit of a bad word here and there. I tell you, it's opened up even more of a stream of connection to Charlotte. I remember taking an hour and a half to 2 hours in the morning to get to Charlotte. Now you can do it in 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
Well, they promised us some predictability.
Yeah.
And thankfully that has panned out. So there's plenty of things I don't like about the toll roads either. Mainly the cost of the toll roads. It seems exorbitant to me, and they just keep going up. But at the same time, what would we do without them? We've got enough traffic problems, but the gridlock, I think that could start impacting things in a pretty negative way. So,
and then on the west side, you got 16, so you got a good connection. Especially if you're a individual that loves the mountains and you want to have good connectivity to the airport. The west side is really good because you could take that 16 up to 40. You could get to the mountains quicker on the west side.
Sure.
And then you still have that connection to Charlotte and to the airport. Then there's some back roads you could take as well. But, so I always, Cornelius usually wins out. Like I said, I have a family and they want me to tour them all the way around the lake, but they've already said, I know, we want to see everything, but I know Cornelius is probably going to win out just for the fact that the amount of things we have, the amenities, activities, the greenways, and, what we have here compared to a little bit more, country living, a little more wider area of space on the other side, which some people just absolutely love too.
Right. Well, a lot of people had all kinds of concerns about this reassessment that just took place. I think they've gotten their tax bills this year. And a lot of the drive has been, with the increase in their properties, the appreciation of their properties. What's y'all's feeling about that? To me, I don't like paying more taxes. That's just not a good thing. However, you want your property values to go up. Property values declining is not good. So how do you talk to people about that, your prospects? You would probably give them an assessment of what you predicted their appreciation to be in years ahead, wouldn't you?
Correct. Absolutely. Right. So, I think you're absolutely correct. I'd rather pay a higher tax bill than see my property values decreasing, right? So when we're speaking with sellers, for example, and we're looking at where their home's value today and where we think it might go, right now what's really driving the boat to a large extent is interest rates.
Sure.
And there's a lot of folks that would like to make a change, but they're locked in at such a great rate. It's really hard for them to get past that, to go take on a higher rate to buy something that has also gotten more expensive.
Right.
Which is leading in a lot of ways to this sort of market stalemate that we've been in.
Well, we see that on the commercial side as well, particularly in the banking industry and in the town. It's pretty tough for projects to get moving because when you do those pro formas and start looking at the numbers, they all of a sudden go, wow, it doesn't work anymore. So that has really slowed down a lot of the projects that were approved by previous boards from getting underway. And we're dealing with that right now. We would love to require them to get going, but we can't do that. They've got an approved project, and typically there's no time element to that requires them to do certain things. So, it's a little bit of a dilemma, and I think the intent of slowing the economy down, that's a part of it. It really is. So we will be right back, moving right along with our About Town Real Estate segment. This is Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam.
There's more About Town with Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam on the way from 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, our Thursday in great shape. The sunshine back in full force and actually pretty comfortable as we warm up into the mid-50s. We'll drop back again into the mid-30s overnight and even warmer, even more mild Friday on the way. Sunshine in low 60s as we round out the work week. Looking ahead to the weekend, should be in pretty good shape. Sunshine is back for Saturday. High temperatures in the mid-50s. We'll be back in the 50s again for Sunday, but some increasing clouds as we go throughout the day. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Hello, everyone. This is Joshua Doby, president of North Main Financial Group. At North Main Financial Group, we move to where you need us: investment management, insurance planning, and estate strategies. No two people are the same, so we customize our planning based upon your needs. Reach out to us at northmainfinancial.com. That's northmainfinancial.com.
Hi, this is Susan. I'm excited to let you know that Lake Mountain Coffee is now available for private events. Our beautiful historic building with its 360-degree mezzanine has hosted many private parties, catered diners, and even an actual wedding. Please contact Andy at 704-252-1886 for more information. Thank you so much.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Apple and Amazon will be releasing their quarterly results after the markets close today. We're also getting more job market indicators before the markets open, with last week's new claims for unemployment benefits, as well as January's layoff announcements being released. Boeing shares rose more than 5% yesterday as the plane maker suspended financial guidance for 2024 and instead promised to focus on safety and quality while also posting stronger than expected results for the latest quarter. The price of oil has stabilized after a big decline yesterday. According to analysts, investors are weighing the potential risk to supply from an expected U.S. retaliatory response to the recent drone attack in Jordan against the latest signs that the country is well supplied. Walmart announces that they intend to grow by building or expanding more than 150 stores over the next 5 years, while also remodeling existing stores. Just 8 years ago, the giant retailer said they would slow the pace of new store openings while focusing on online growth to compete with Amazon. I'm Dan Schwartzman, Bloomberg Radio.
Call now to speak with Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam at 844-STUDIO-4. It's About Town on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
And we're back. Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam here, and we're about town today talking real estate. It's an interesting place to talk about real estate here in the town of Cornelius. And, I've heard from some of your colleagues in the business, Sean, about the inventory challenges that I guess all markets have in this region. Tell us about that. Is that a valid concern? Where are we headed with that, and how much of a factor is that in getting this economy rolling again?
Yeah, it's a major issue that we have right now, and unfortunately, it is stemming from the interest rates. Wendy kind of alluded to it earlier that we have a lot of individuals that we talk to every day. They're like, I want to sell my home,
Right.
but I can't double my interest rate. We have individuals in the some are in the high twos, some in the low threes. And right now we're currently at 6.7. It went down a little bit with the CPI, and the Fed met yesterday, thankfully. But if you don't have homes to sell, even though you have demand, there's no movement. Now, what we've done is we would go off market. We will call on for sale by owners. We'll go through our network of individuals that have bought homes years ago to see if they might be open to it. We might even, if we have a neighborhood that we have clients that definitely want to buy in there, we find out where's the expireds, withdrawals, make calls throughout the neighborhood, see if anyone would be open, send postcards just to find that inventory. But you can have buyers and they're ready to come in. They could be all cash ready to go, but you have nothing to sell them. You're at a stalemate.
You really are. You really are. So what are the inventory levels look like, Wendy?
So interesting, just to sort of put a little perspective, in 2021 in Cornelius in January, we had 118 homes for sale.
Mm-hmm.
And this January, we were looking at like 80 homes for sale.
Wow.
So, we're seeing sellers cooling off in terms of listing their homes.
Mm-hmm.
Interest rate is a huge driver of that. And so what ended up happening just countrywide, we ended up in 2023, the entire United States saw about 4.1 million existing homes trade.
Hmm.
That was the lowest level we've had since 2008.
Wow.
And just for some perspective, in 2021, we saw about 6.1 million homes transact across
Hmm.
the country. Now we're expecting to see some pickup in 2024,
Hmm.
and how much of a pickup? I think interest rates are going to drive that bus. Right now, if you look at some of the economists out there, they're thinking in the 13% range
Hmm.
in terms of a pickup in activity. So I would like to see that. It is a challenge when you have buyers who are actively trying to find something to purchase and there's just nothing to look at. And I think we're going to start to see that opening up this year.
Yeah, interesting. There's folks like me, I think, and my wife out in the market that we're not opposed to selling our house, but then it goes through our mind, you know, how are we going to replace it? What's next for us? Because we've got to live somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
and I certainly want and need to stay in Cornelius right
Mm-hmm.
now that I'm elected. So, how do you explain that aspect to a potential seller, buyer, and so forth?
Well, I think, this market has made it just a little bit more challenging, right? So, for us as agents, we have to get creative.
Hmm.
So, there may not be a home listed for sale, but that doesn't mean there's not anybody out there who's willing to sell.
Hmm.
And so, our job is to go find it. And we have a bunch of different ways that we can do that in terms of being able to go find it. And, I think the skill of marketing is key in being able to do that. I think in terms of buyers and sellers, I think there are some tactics that we've used in terms of, giving you some time. So if you're thinking about selling your house and you're nervous, right, about timing of how that might all work, we can negotiate quite a few different situations for you in your offer, right, to
Hmm.
give you that ability to get some time for yourself to find the next thing. So
Sure.
there are solutions out there that will work for people. I think ultimately it's, does the math make sense?
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
the other thing to add on that is that we are still in a seller's market. I mean, a lot of our area here in Cornelius is still below 2 months of inventory. And for a seller, that is the most, yeah, I mean, that is the best time to sell.
Correct.
Sure.
So we have a client that has a home on the market right now, and in beautiful home, it's in an upper price range, but there literally is one other home in a whole area they're competing against,
Mm.
and they actually are a better value. If you wait longer and you wait until that the market's hot and area, actually you're going to sit on the market even longer.
Mm.
And now you got competitors you got to fight against that you might have to lower your price. So even though a individual is like, well, yeah, I might have to pay higher interest rates.
Hmm.
Well, if you wait, you may have to pay more anyways.
Yeah.
Correct.
So
Exactly.
wouldn't you rather be in an environment that you are the best in right now on the market and low inventory than fighting and have to battle it out against multiple, and you're still in that situation and may have to not get as much, but at the same time, it's with these situations, you got to kind of look and average it out and look at it and what's the best position you could put yourself in.
Yeah, let's talk about appreciation a little bit. What's the prediction coming into 24 about it? Is that trend going to continue at the pace that it has in the past, or it may be a function of inventory? I don't know. What's your thoughts about that, Wendy?
Well, it's really interesting because when we saw interest rates really climb, there was a big concern that prices were going to crash.
Mm-hmm.
And you would talk to buyers and sellers, and there was this huge concern that the sky was just going to fall, right? We haven't seen that. Over the last 12 months, Cornelius has seen about a 6% increase in appreciation.
Wow.
So, the what ended up happening is interest rates certainly impacted demand from buyers, but it also, as we talked about, impacted supply.
Mm-hmm.
So, in terms of our absorption rate, it really hasn't changed very much. And that's what has kept our pricing relative, stable and growing. So if we do see interest rates, and we think we will see interest rates start to come down to an extent, that we expect that to put more demand back into the market, which would be a healthy thing for appreciation.
Sure. Well, it's a moving cycle there. It sounds like, and the future of that cycle is certainly up for anybody's interpretation.
That's correct.
I know the Feds have some meetings coming up, and as a banker, we were watching that with bated breath. I saw a prediction the other day that they may bring interest rates down maybe 3 times this coming year. That seems like a pretty dramatic drop, but it does also seem like the inflation factors are improving as well, maybe to justify that. So I guess they've just got to keep their finger on the pulse a little bit just to keep it in line. So it's an interesting economic journey we're on here. But it doesn't appear that a crash is imminent, which a lot of folks worried about.
Right.
Yeah, that's the whole fun part of reading the tea leaves. I remember going towards the end of in December, and they're like, "Oh, the Fed's going to lower 6 times," and then it went to 4 times, and now they're with the Fed meeting yesterday with the CPI numbers, like they said we are lowering rates, but it ain't going to be March.
Right.
So
Exactly.
so at least they put some stability and rumor crushing a little bit of because the numbers were it was interesting, and then there was an announcement of like 80,000 being laid off in various industries out there, mostly in tech. But they're saying that was more affected by AI than anything else. So it's interesting. It's trying to predict and understand what might happen. But as I tell my clients, all we know is today.
Exactly.
What decision we got to make today, and we're not looking at we're not here flipping homes. We're looking at long term situation. So we have different clients that come in and are like, well, I'm paying more here and there. I'm like, well, you may be paying a little bit more now, but with over time, 5 years, 10 years, people don't move homes like they used to.
Right.
It's going to come back, and you're in a phenomenal location to kind of be confident it's going to come back.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this area won't allow anything else. So just a real life example that we're personally thinking through, Sharon and I, is the fact that we have availability. We have an opening in one of our rental units. It happens to be a townhouse. It happens to be in a lakefront community, not right on the lake. Our thought process is, should we sell it? Should we continue to rent it and certainly get market rent for it if we were to rent it? But I guess I'm looking at y'all for a little free advice here. So with this market in that kind of setting, would you hold it or would you sell it?
Well, I love cash flow producing properties. So
I do too.
it's just fun, isn't it? Right?
It really is.
So I would say, and everybody has a different situation in terms of their specific tax situation and all that they have to contemplate. But
that's certainly going through my mind right now. We'll be back and talk a little more in depth about that, because I'm sure the others having this same contemplation right now. This is Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam, and you're About Town with Real Estate. We'll be right back.
Well, our Thursday in great shape. The sunshine back in full force and actually pretty comfortable as we warm up into the mid-50s. We'll drop back again into the mid-30s overnight, and even warmer, even more mild Friday on the way. Sunshine in low 60s as we round out the work week. Looking ahead to the weekend, should be in pretty good shape. Sunshine is back for Saturday with high temperatures in the mid-50s. We'll be back in the 50s again for Sunday, but some increasing clouds as we go throughout the day. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. Merlefest is back. April 25th through the 28th at Wilkes Community College. Featuring nearly 100 performers, including Old Crow Medicine Show, Turnpike Troubadours, the Teskey Brothers, Nickel Creek, and more. Tickets and information at merlefest.org. Listen each morning to Good Morning LKN for your chance to win tickets. Mooresville Parks and Recreation is excited to bring The Great Magician Murder Mystery Dinner Theater to the Charles Mack Citizen Center, Saturday, February 10th. This is not your usual murder mystery experience. An evening of theater and mystery that will have you laughing and gasping. The Great Magician Murder Mystery Dinner Theater, Saturday, February 10th. For more info, visit ourtownstage.com. Chi-Town Transit Authority is coming to Kane Center for the Arts, Saturday, February 3rd. Come hear the 8-piece Chicago tribute band, horn and woodwind sections included. Chi-Town Transit Authority, Kane Center for the Arts, Saturday, February 3rd. kanearts.org. That's CAINarts.org. The North Carolina Gun Collectors Association Gun Show is coming to the Statesville Civic Center, February 3rd and 4th. Always remember, safety first. For more info, including show rules and restrictions, visit the North Carolina Gun Collectors Association website. The NCGCA Gun Show, February 3rd and 4th, Statesville Civic Center. Want to attend the Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show? Throughout the day, you have your chance to win tickets. Listen to Good Morning LKN, the Home Ad Show, the News Drive at 5, and the Scoreboard. Each show gives you your chance to win. The Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show, February 23rd through the 25th. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
Now, more About Town with Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
And we're back. Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam here, and we are about town today talking real estate. And you know, that's a pretty hot topic in the town of Cornelius, which is a pretty hot spot for that topic. It really is. So, you know, we were talking about the buy, sell, not, you know, rent, all that aspect. And, you know, I think you about convinced me that property values are going up to a point that maybe we ought to hold this property a little bit longer, particularly with its proximity to Lake Norman and that sort of thing. So I think we've seen great appreciation with it, but at this particular point, we might ought to ride that horse just a little bit farther. So we'll see, but thank you for making me think about all the aspects of that. So tell me about the future of real estate. You know, it's like in the industry, in the banking industry, for all the many years I have been involved with that, change is just expected. I mean, you've got to know it's coming. You've got to plan for it. You've got to embrace it. And you've got to, you know, continue driving it in that particular direction. Real estate's no different. The way we go about buying and selling our homes, the way the real estate agents here in this town, and we must have hundreds, wouldn't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
That are trying to make a living doing this, you know, they have to keep up with the new trends and all that kinds of stuff. So what's the challenges ahead, and where is your profession heading in the next you know, 10 years, for instance?
It's a great question, actually. And, you know, I think 2023 was a challenging year for a lot of real estate agents, driven off of the absolute fewer number of transactions. So you're just splitting fewer transactions across, you know, a lot of real estate agents, right? So I think overall, though, the consumer has expectations in terms of what they get in terms of value when they hire an agent, whether they're a buyer or a seller. And you know, the consumer expects great service. They expect great advice. And there's a lot of technology out there that is continuing to push the envelope, right? So, we're starting to think about things like AI and how does that impact real estate down the road.
Right.
And, about 90% of buyers start their process online when they're searching for a home. And there's a lot of competition trying to grab those eyeballs. And so as an agent, how do you grab those eyeballs, right?
Mhm.
And so how are you presenting yourself and marketing yourself in a way that, drives value to that consumer? They want to work with you because they certainly have a lot of choices out there.
Sure.
And there's been some pretty significant lawsuit activity in the space too, that we think will absolutely impact how buyer agency and seller agency work, right? So, when you list your house for sale, you hire a listing agent and you agree with that listing agent and that listing agent's firm to compensate them. And the way that the system works today through the multiple listing service, right, the MLS, your listing agent agrees to cooperate with another firm, a buyer agency, and to pay buyer agency commission. Well, there's been a lot of scrutiny around that process and some recent rulings that essentially impact how that process works. And we're not sure exactly how that's all going to flush out, but it may end up, it's, potentially that as a buyer, you have to pay your own buyer agency.
Mhm.
And which is a big deal, right? Because if you're a buyer and you're buying a house and now suddenly you have to front the bill for your buyer agent,
Mm.
then that's a far different situation than how it looks today, where the seller is paying that commission.
Mhm.
And so, things like that are certainly big deals and may impact how people have to market themselves, present themselves, and make sure that they're delivering value at the end of the day. And I think consumers need counsel. This is a major financial transaction that they're going through, and they need a credible professional on their side, and that credible professional deserves to be compensated, right? And so, the question is, how's that all going to look down the road?
Yeah. Well, it sounds like certainly the technology aspect of it, is in the picture. So a lot of folks are uptight about paying those commissions. We know that. They're uptight about paying bank fees too. Trust me, or fees on loans, and the list goes on. But you know, in your world, I how how do you deal with a consumer that's putting their house on the market on that particular aspect? Do they try to negotiate with you, and do you negotiate, or I guess you could, if depending on your desire to do that or not do that. Uh, so how does that roll into the future? Is it going to get more competitive?
Absolutely. I mean, all commissions are negotiable.
Yes.
And I think, everybody runs their, business how they decide they want to run their business in terms of the compensation that they're willing to accept for the services they provide. We take a little bit of a unique approach in that we don't have a one size fits all service standard, right? That, we're going to make you pick this entire menu, right? So we operate a little differently, and the big piece of that, a seller is hiring an agent to market and sell their home.
Sure.
And the real benefit, in my opinion, that the agent brings to the table is their marketing skills and their negotiation skills.
Hmm.
And so different homes require different marketing plans. And, I think that's a big differentiator, right? So
Right.
how we market a $4 million luxury listing, um, we're looking at potentially a higher probability that's going to be an out-of-state buyer, right?
Hmm.
So how do I reach that out-of-state buyer who's sitting, in their home in California,
Hmm.
right? Versus a home that might be attracting a first-time buyer who may be local here, right? So it's just figuring out a marketing strategy, and so I think tailoring those services and giving the consumer choices in terms of those services is paramount in my opinion.
Yeah, it sounds like the new world of creativity and salesmanship that you're dealing with. What's amazing to me is what an important role our real estate agents have in marketing our community in this region, because your listings are generally here or close to here, and to sell people on this area or coming to this area is a pretty incredible talent. Wouldn't you say so, Sean?
Yeah, it does. When someone's buying a home, they're not just buying the home; they're buying the neighborhood, the community, the town. They're buying the overall picture for themselves and for their family. And one of the biggest things that I found is just developing that trust, with them. So when they're in town, we're not just showing them a home. We're taking them to parks. We're taking them to different amenities. We'll take them to a show over, at Boatyard, and say, hey, here's the home. Let's go look at the schools. You could get a feel for the schools. Go to a town-run event like a Symphony in the Park. I mean, you're not just buying a home, and being as transparent with them as possible on all aspects. From not just amenities. What is our taxes? What's the living costs here? Because yes, we do have individuals that come here from other states where they're selling a higher end or higher. It doesn't have to be $1 million home. It could be they're selling a home that's 600,000 again here, and it's 450. It sometimes they are coming in a situation in that, but overall, does it meet all the needs and wants of the family? And that town, the community, and the neighborhood means so much to that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, there's so much. I think any weekend you bring a prospect here in town, there's so much going on that you could probably impress them pretty good because we've got a lot of action here. And then you add Charlotte, the amenities of Charlotte, and this whole region in that picture. It's pretty cool. It really is. So. I mean, this weekend, for instance, we were talking earlier. There's a big event tonight over at Peninsula
That's
Prime.
right.
There's a celebrity bartender event, which I will participate in along with the other members of the Cornelius Town Board. We'll be serving drinks to benefit Ada Jenkins, several of their programs at the Ada Jenkins Center, which is such an awesome service to our community. And 40% of the folks that Ada Jenkins serves is right here in Cornelius, which surprises me, but that's the way it is. So come on out to Peninsula Prime tonight and let us serve you a drink. And the other thing that's going on, I believe it's Saturday night, is Chi-Town over at the Kane Center, a Chicago type band.
Oh, that'd be fun.
That is springing loose at the Kane Center. I think it's close to sold out, if not sold out by now. So, amenities like that you can show your clients rolling into town and get them out mingling with our citizens who are generally positive.
Yeah.
If you bringing them in from Los Angeles or something like that, they don't think our traffic is significant by any means.
No, they don't.
No, they don't. So
it gives them a wow factor. They do not expect that when they go over and see that.
That is exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. So today, I appreciate the input coming from Wendy Atherton and Sean Herndon. They're married, by the way. So
Yes, we are.
We didn't get into the story of how that works. We'll do that next time we have y'all on here. Winstone Dane Group with eXp Realty. They do a good job for a lot of clients, as many of our real estate agents do here in our town. And we love having you a part of our show today. And you can't talk about real estate enough in the town of Cornelius.
No.
So we look forward to more conversation about this as the market gets into the hot selling season in the spring. And I feel it heating up as mortgage rates are coming down and things are brightening up. And if you can just get a little more inventory, I think we would be in the good times again. So this is Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you, Woody.
Please listen back in next week. We'll be back again with some very significant guests that I'm sure you'll be pleased with. We love communicating with this community like we do, and appreciate WSIC giving us the opportunity to do that. So thank you so much for listening today, and continue to continue to move the needle forward. Thank you. See you next time.